Environmentalist Alexander Verbeek joins me now from the Netherlands. Thanks so much for being with us. I mean, what does it say to you that the most powerful international body couldn't meet a single goal it laid out to protect our planet's biodiversity over the last 10 years?
I think the same as so many other people in the world. I mean, this is so deeply sad. We got a few existential crises that we're dealing with. It's the climate crisis and it's the biodiversity crisis, and they're very much interlinked, by the way. If we don't act as a world community, if we don't take our responsibility, it's, life on this planet in just decades from now is going to be really, really difficult. And so many millions of people will suffer while solutions are at hand. We just have to change the way we're doing it. It's not a technical question, it's a governance question that isn't solved.
Are the solutions really at hand now? Because more environmentalists are coming out to say that we've actually hit the point of no return.
Well, yeah, to a certain extent, we have hit the point of no return. I mean, for every single species that has died out, and actually today many species died out and tomorrow many more will, those species will never, ever come back. We're not in some kind of Jurassic Park that we take them back out of some kind of test tube or something. Those species are gone and will never come back. So for each of them, it's a point of no return. For the world at large, if you look at the global ecosystem, if we can act now, there's still a lot that we can save. We can actually preserve the world. We have seen many examples where you can restore a lot of the world, but it takes leadership and it takes political will. So on the positive side, you see now that world leaders are actually fighting for places to speak today. They're lining up. It's crowded in this governmental cyberspace today. That gives a bit of hope, but the results from the past 20 years are, as you mentioned, are not very hopeful.
Right. And I mean, part of the problem is just far too many people don't actually see yet how it affects their lives and what actually changes. And they also take this comfort in the idea that humanity can engineer its way out of anything anyway. So there will be other options. Whatever we lose, we'll find a way to provide for it via technology or engineering.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, you don't have to look far. I mean, just look around you. Anybody in your studio right now, I just saw them walking around with a mouse cap, reminds you of what happens when there is too much biodiversity loss. All pandemics that we see, or practically all of them, have a direct link to the destruction of natural habitats, where suddenly species that are normally not put together they're changing the place where they are living. They're suddenly in close contact with other species, and then you see that that viruses jump. You saw that with HIV in the Congo. You saw that with Ebola. You saw it with SARS. You saw it again with COVID. If we change the natural order, if we change the natural ecosystems, you get these kind of viruses. And I mean, viruses is just one example. The first one that came up to mind when you said, you don't see it every day. But look around you, when I grew up, there were hundreds, there were thousands of flies in the garden. And, the windshield of the car was full of insects when you stopped at a gas station.
Right.
All of that is gone now. And I could go on. I think everybody who is my age or older can tell you about the species they saw in their youth that they don't see anymore.
Right. And I mean, looking at the pictures we've been showing while you're talking, not exactly right now. Before we were seeing just the amount of plastic waste. That is something everyone is witness to. Whether they care or not is another question, but still, everyone has seen that now. Just tons of garbage that we can't seem to get rid of. It's actually becoming worse now with the coronavirus pandemic because more is being wrapped in plastic. Single-use plastics their use is at an all-time high. I want you to address that because that is a huge problem for our environment, for biodiversity, because it's choking waterways, it's killing animal species. What needs to be done about that right now?
Well, the way to stop the plastic waste is at the beginning. You shouldn't just get it in society. So although there's amazing efforts of people cleaning up plastic and recycling it and making new products out of it, which I admire and believe are very good, you have to stop at the beginning. You just start, for instance, making it more expensive. Normally, one of the best ways to change the behavior of people is make something more expensive. Let people pay for their plastic bags, for the plastic waste, and make producers pay. I mean, when I go to a supermarket, I'm always surprised if I want to buy toilet paper. Why is that wrapped in plastic? You don't have to hold that fresh or something. I mean, the enormous amount of plastic, there's not one brand I can find that just wraps toilet paper in paper, which is what those factories produce.
Right.
They actually have to make an effort to get plastic from somewhere else. It is more expensive, it is wasteful.
It is, but it's not getting better.
We just have to set rules and make it more expensive.
And follow them. Okay, Alexander, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for being with us. We really appreciate it.